What's happening, guys and girls? Welcome back to the channel. How are you all out there? Hope you're all staying safe and sane. Today, I am going to be driving my very first fast forward. And I find it amazing actually that I've never stepped into a Focus RS before in my life. I don't know why, I don't know, maybe it's because I grew up with German cars, you know, I was always around that sort of scene, and the fast forward scene never really entered my mind's eye. I'll be honest, and some people are gonna shoot me for this. When I thought of Fords, I thought of like the Ford Performance Show at Santa Pod, and it was just lots of people revving, and everyone's like, no, it's not like that. But you know what it's like, everyone has their own stereotypes for different scenes. But I just never got into them because they were front wheel drive, and I was more into my rear wheel drive cars, my Beamers and my German stuff. But that doesn't mean that it's not a car that I didn't want to get my hands on, and today is finally that day. And I thought, what an appropriate time, because obviously with the news that Ford are now discontinuing the Ford Focus RS, it's very sad. I'm actually sad. I'm sad for Ford owners, because it seems like the RS has got such a cult following. There's got a very, very loyal fan base. And lots of people have said to me, you know, you just need to get behind the wheel of one. You need to understand why these cars are so great. Shmi absolutely adores his Ford Focus RS. Like, he loves it. Whenever he talks about it, he gets super as excited about it as he does his Senna. So there's obviously something to be said about these cars. I watched a video the other day that Rory Reid put up, I think it was on Auto Trader, talking about the fact that they'd stopped making the Ford Focus RS, and he was making some bold claims. He was saying it's the best fast car that you can buy at the moment, and he was talking about real everyday driving on real roads. He was saying that this thing is serious bang for your buck, and managed to convince Matt LeBlanc to buy one as well. So those are big shoes to step into. The car that I have today isn't completely standard. It is a Mark II Focus RS. It's had a few upgrades. It's got a stage 1 tune. It's not the original 300 brake horsepower from factory. It's 350. It has got an exhaust system on it that I'm still getting to grips with. Yeah, you'll find out in a minute. I'm gonna leave it all on the table and just enjoy the car for what it is. I'm just gonna have a chat about my thoughts on the first Ford Focus RS that I've ever driven. Well, there's no time like the present. The sun is shining, I am sweating. Let's go out and get into the car. I do absolutely love the fact that I can drive around a rural island in these cars, until I started driving this thing and I was like, oh my god, I'm starting to turn to someone that's worried about what the neighbours think. This thing has such a, like, I'm like wincing every time I put my foot on the accelerator. Oh dear. So for my first experience with a Focus RS, I have this lovely example. So it's a 2009 2.5 litre turbocharged 5-pot, 5 cylinders, guys. So that's the first time that I've really driven one of these engines. And do you know what? A few people said to me, they were like, you'll be quite politely surprised. It's quite a nice noise to it. It's sort of, it's a cross between a 6-pot and a Subaru, sort of, if that makes any sense. And I can sort of see what they mean by that. Obviously this car, from standard, from factory, was 300 brake horsepower, and it's 300 and something the foot-pounds of torque. I can't remember exactly. But this one has had a stage 1 tune, so which brings it up to 350 horsepower, which actually is equivalent to the new Mark III Focus RS, so that had an extra 50 shot over and above the original Mark II. The main thing about this car for me is the fact that it's front-wheel drive. I had a front-wheel drive Fiat Abarth, the 595 Competizione, and it was sort of less than 1,000 kilos or so and 210 brake horsepower, and I absolutely loved the fact that it torque steered everywhere, because I mean, it was never really going anywhere that quick. But when you drive this thing and it's suddenly starting to pull you left and right over the road, it's a little bit more serious. The one thing that I am really enjoying about this car is it is the 6-speed manual. Also, like, another thing to mention is, you know, like you get into some cars and they've got a load of different driving modes. You need to put it into, for it to become the RS that it sells you on the side of the tin, you have to press some buttons and hold that down and do this and fucking flick the stalk left and right, and then it will go into all singing, all dancing mode. Nope, as soon as you step into this car, it is ready, set up, and yeah, ready for a bonkers run. I like that, because you kind of, every time you get into it, you have the same feeling, and also about this car and the introduction of, I think it was a more highly adapted Quaife limited slip differential, and it actually tried to eliminate some of the torque steer. But don't get me wrong, like, Jesus Christ, this thing is, she's twitchy on the way up the gears. But I have to admit, it is a fun car to drive. I have been, it feels like a bit of a rocket ship and you're holding on to it for dear life. As I said, the only comparison that I have is to anything sort of high-ish powered that was front-wheel drive was my Abarth. Oh, got some horses in the road here. Being polite and saluting people, and then I'm absolutely like gun fingers at them as I drive off. Okay, classic. I brought the car down to my now usual spot at the Abbey to take a look at the Mark II Focus RS that I was driving. So here she is. Another lovely white car. It seems to be a theme at the moment, sort of early 2000s, late 90s cars all in white. Love it, have to admit. Don't not dislike it. Don't not dislike it, don't dislike it. Gosh, I can't even speak today. I kind of like the sort of like vents on the front here. Do they actually do anything? They are legit vents, because you know, you see some people, they have vents and they don't do anything. It's got quite a lot of lovely gloss black details here, as you can see on the spots here. I have no idea whether this is standard equipment or not. As I told you before, not a Ford girl, just pointing out the fact that I quite like it. And also, weirdly, never in my life did I know that you open the bonnet by sort of flipping this round. Like, that's crazy to me. That is just a whole new world. That's quite good. I like that though. That's a good invention. Yeah, so I think you can see here at the front they've got that AirTech intercooler that they put on peeping through as well. That is definitely not standard. But I think the car is generally quite good looking. It doesn't look too dated. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't think this looks like a massively older car. It still looks quite up to date, which I think is really good for a car of its age. As I say, this one is a 2009. Coming around the side, you know, it's just got all the nice little trim blits, and I like the blue as well, but whenever I see that colour blue it just reminds me of Shmee. I do like this as well with the RS, you know, embroidered onto the seats and the Recaro everywhere. That is a lovely little touch. But you know, my one thing that I was saying to you in the car was like, oh, I just hit my hand, is the amount of plastic everywhere. That kind of doesn't do anything for me. And yeah, I don't know, just, this is a couple of things, but as I said, it's really minor. And the whole infotainment system, I'm not even going to talk about. It's of its age. What you're here for is what the car actually drives like. Oh, and that was the other thing that I really liked. All the little gauges up here as well. You know, got your turbo showing your sort of boost pressure, and then also your oil. I kind of like that. It's like, it's really sporty, and I definitely prefer that as to A-pillar boost gauges and things of the such like. Definitely got some privacy glass on here as well. Hi guys! In the back, obviously, you've got the gloss black spoiler here and the big diffuser, and then that Scorpion exhaust system. Yeah, I'm not about it. It looks quite smart, but the actual noise from it is, shall we say, ridiculous. It would not be Ireland unless you have cows. Honestly, the Irish people are so nice. They just stop and have a chat with me, not even ask about the fact that I'm just, you know, talking to myself in the middle of nowhere, talking to a camera by myself, and yeah. So anyway, on that note, that is me with the Ford Focus. My overall review of it. What did I think? Great fun to drive. It's definitely, it has a particular set of characteristics that you have got to like yourself. So if you're a Ford person and you love that, then yeah, you do that. I get it. I do get it. It's not personally for me, but yeah, really, really good fun car. I'd love to get into the Mark III now and have a drive of it and see what I thought. Because if it's anything to go by, that thing's a bit of a monster. Hopefully when all this COVID-19 stuff calms down, I'll get myself onto Ford and get myself out in a Mark III Focus RS. As I say, for the die-hard fans out there, I feel for you. No more of your favourite car. But that must mean that there's something bigger and better. When one door closes, another one opens. I'm a great believer in that. Well, guys, make sure you're there next Thursday at 6 p.m. because there'll be another video coming for you, because I am being super consistent at the minute, which I don't even know how I'm managing to do it, but it's all great. I'll catch you then. See you later. Stay safe. Take care. Bye.